Hey guys, welcome back to day number 10 of the Fit Chick Project. And today you're going to be meeting one of my favorite human beings on this earth and fellow competitor, and that is Jamie Joyce Hagiya. What I love about Jamie is her ability to make people feel like we're not alone in our struggles with our body image, our food habits, and our gym efforts. She is a total badass that has nothing to hide. She tells it like it is and has a special way of making everything fun. But besides her inner awesomeness, Jamie is also an athletic prodigy. This girl was born an athlete and spent the last decade as a professional basketball player and CrossFit Games athlete. I'll never actually forget how impressive it was to watch her rebound 30-inch box jumps laterally and when she snatched 215 pounds. Having competed with her in many competitions, I always wondered, how did she do it all? How does she manage to just stay so happy and always have a smile on her face while competing and training hard? How does she balance her family life with her work life? And how does she manage her well-known sweet tooth without beating herself up? We talked about all that and more in today's interview, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. Some of my favorite talking points were, number one, how she knew it was time to retire. Number two, how she handled the transition of no longer making working out the center of her life, despite being a gym owner. Number three, what her new relaxed gym routine looks like today. Number four, how she approaches workouts today and so that she keeps it fun and not a chore. Number five, her favorite things to do when she's not in the gym. Number six, the one thing she practices daily to help her feel more at peace with her body, her workouts, her food. Number seven, and you're going to love this one. Number seven is her number one piece of advice for women out there that want to look fit and without killing themselves in the gym. So you guys are going to love this one, and I can't wait to hear what your aha moments are from this interview. You can follow her good vibes by clicking the links below and giving her a follow on Instagram. And I hope you guys enjoy the show. All right, guys, welcome back to the Fit Chick Project. I am super excited to have Jamie Joyce on here today. Welcome, Jamie.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
So I'm really excited to have Jamie on today. She is somebody that, we definitely like trained alongside each other. We also, we did grid with each other. And man, girl, what I remember about you is you had the most fastest box jumps ever. And you were like stringing those bad boys, like the 30-inch box jumps. You remember that?
Yes, that was one of my favorite things and then one of my worst things because that's how I ended up tearing my Achilles.
I remember that.
Absolutely my favorite and loved grid was amazing. I loved watching you. You were crazy. And that's the memories I have of you are like the games, obviously, the pull up, that one event.
Yeah.
And rowing. Shoulder,
yeah.
Yes. Killing that. And then grid, obviously, like your beast.
Yeah.
Anything gymnastics.
Yeah.
Awesome
So funny. But besides that, like, I think I'm just so stoked to have you on today because, I was telling you earlier that like, you're just like this girl that, I see you on Instagram and I'm just like, man, you're that person that everybody wants to be friends with. Like, you're just, you just feel like you make us feel so normal. Like when I eat, like, I don't know, when I feel like shitty for eating a bag of Oreos or something, you just make me feel like it's okay. And, and just how to have fun. You're always smiling, like in your workouts, you're always with friends, like, and I just think that you're such a great leader for so many people on how you can, stay fit and look fit and just create this freedom in your life. And so that's what I'm really excited to talk about because I want to know like what's going on, like how, what goes on in your head, what are your secrets and what's important to you so that we can all achieve that level of happiness and fitness, without feeling like we have to just spend our entire lives in the gym or obsessing over food.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So let's, I got some fun icebreaker questions. So first off, what is your favorite high calorie treat? Like if like whatever, like, decadent thing to eat.
Oh man, I have a sweet tooth, so I obviously love any like cake, cookies, ice cream, donuts. So I guess any of those sweet treats.
Yeah. Do you have a preference? Cake, cookies, ice cream, donuts?
Well, when I first like kind of got into CrossFit, I was obsessed with Susie cakes. It's still one of my favorites. Their cakes and their cupcakes and cookies are so good. So I love them. I actually dressed up as Susie for Halloween, and I tried
Okay.
to be sponsored by them for regionals. It would have been kind of funny. Had like a
Yeah.
competition sponsored by like a cupcake, a bakery. But yeah, so them donuts, like we're in LA, so Randy's Donuts, a huge one you see off the freeway. That's a
Okay.
big car. There's a ton. I can go on
Okay.
the whole podcast.
Right. Yeah. Cool. And then how about like a low calorie treat? Like let's say like when we're trying to keep things super tight, like is there something that you use that sort of hits that sweet spot that's lower?
Um, Honestly, I kind of go like all in or nothing, because I
Okay.
can dial it back, and that's why sometimes it's very very bad. But like sometimes I'll eat like 4 or 5 donuts, and then I'll stay away for like a month or two, and I'm good. But yeah,
Okay.
something like that I need that's sweet. Like dried mangoes are really good, so I'll snack on those.
Mm-hmm.
I do actually love like like it's not sweet, but it's more of like a meal. But any like Mediterranean, so like there's salads, the like with chicken and the like all
Yes.
are the Kalamata olives and all that stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
but I do like to eat healthy as well.
Yeah. No, that's my favorite thing. That's been my go-to lately is sort of like chicken breasts with, and then I put all this like popcorn seasoning stuff on it and then tomatoes and like just like a little bit of dressing and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
that's one of the things that's nice about staying at home is like I'm realizing, whoa, it's one, it's not that hard to like make your own food, and two, it's actually really delicious for eating like at home and healthy. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I've kind of learned during this stay at home.
Yeah, I like the one thing that I've noticed is, man, it's just such a slippery slope, dude. It's like, okay, if I do go out to eat, or if I eat my boyfriend's meals, he's just like TV dinners and pizzas and Reese's Pieces, and it's like if I go into that, like it can very quickly turn it like hard to get my taste buds off of that, right?
Right, right. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, the cleaner and more blander I can keep it, but with just enough, like that's how I kind of stay balanced.
Yeah, and I think like your mind plays such tricks on us. Like literally just yesterday, I was like, I felt like I was in this good groove of I'm getting in shape, I'm working out, I'm eating healthy. Like I thought I was losing weight, and then I saw a video of me like jumping rope, my shirt off, and I was like, oh man, like I was like, do I look that big in person? And then I weighed myself this morning, and I was like, whoa, I really gained those 10 pounds we were talking about in quarantine, like for real, and it last night, like seeing that and feeling that I started eating because I was like, oh, okay, I look, feel bad. I don't think I look great. And I just started eating more and more and more. And so,
Hmm.
so I'm going to take this day to reset. And then obviously every diet starts on Mondays. So Monday, tomorrow, I'm going to, yeah, just try to get back on track.
Yeah. Dude, I totally hear you. I've had a rough week this week. This is kind of actually I had my like Oreo thing like totally went out of control, but and it was totally okay. But I noticed that it is so the biggest thing, dude, from what I agree, right? You can be literally one person 1 minute and literally a totally different person the next minute. Like within 2 minutes, you're completely different. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So, but the one thing that I've noticed is like for me, very similar, right? Well, I mean, everybody is an emotional human being, but when I feel anxious, anxiety, bolting to that pantry, and so if I can just manage my emotional state and constantly put myself in a place of like feeling good, like just where I feel good, I'm moving, I'm out in the sun, those kind of with friends, stuff like that's when it seems to just flow naturally.
Right. And I think we go through all these like peaks and valleys, and I think for women especially, like we have to know like just even like your cycles when like that is
Yeah,
like cravings, things that you
sure.
normally like that you want, and you have to just eat, like sometimes I have to eat horrible for a whole week, and then it just goes away.
Yeah.
But I think for me what works is not stressing so much about it when I'm literally like counting it like, oh my gosh, and stressing about every little thing. That's when I drive myself insane. And then when it's like, okay, take a bite of
Yes.
that. You don't need to have a bag of Oreos. You can have one or two, and then carry
Totally.
on your day. Don't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah.
Move on.
I hear you, dude. I like that's why I don't even track food anymore because I'm just like that just got me so out of touch of what I really needed
Right.
and it made me more obsessive, and then thinking like, oh, I gotta, like, it just was not, I don't have that obsession and kind of out of controlness when, when I can just kind of feel it.
Right. And I think this all stems, obviously, like a lot of us know, like from, things like childhood or growing up or issues that like, oh, maybe we were like, someone in 8th grade called me JJ. My name's Jamie Joyce, right? Or my middle name. And so they called me JJ the whale. And so I was like, oh, like, and you remember these things, you hold on to these things, and no matter what you look like or what you are now, you always flash back to that and are reminded.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's interesting
yeah.
how something like that can just be imprinted with you forever.
Right. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
totally.
Hey girl, real quick, have you seen my new Fit Chic clothing line? Oh my God, dude, it is so cute and there's something for everyone. There's muscle tanks, there's crop tops, there's hoodies, there's trucker hats, and way more coming. Now, the term Fit Chic is not at all about your physical appearance, but rather about the character and the soul behind the name. Fit Chicks are proud. They take pride in what they do and who they are in and out of the gym. Fitness is a way of life for us. It is who we are. And we respect the discipline and the work ethic that every fit chick embodies. We love fitness not because of the physical body it creates, but rather the feeling and the experiences that being fit gives us. If this resonates with you, be sure to check out all of our clothing designs at shopfitchick.com. As of now, all orders are going to be done pre-sale only, and the designs will change with every new batch. So if you find a style that you really, really like, buy it up, because who knows if it'll ever come back. All right, let's get back to the show.
I know you were like a pro basketball player beforehand. So kind of like, just kind of give us a rundown of what sort of level you had reached both in basketball and CrossFit.
Yeah, so basically I grew up here in the South Bay, in Torrance, and I love basketball, but I'm 5'3", Japanese American, and not really your ideal basketball height and look. So growing up in high school, everyone said I was too short, it wasn't good enough. I never played Division I, but I didn't care what anyone said, and I just did my own thing, kept on working hard, ended up earning a scholarship to the University of Southern California. So fight on for all my Trojan fans. I played 4 years there, and then graduated in 2007 with a degree in communication. And when I thought I was going to get into like marketing, PR, I didn't be a school teacher. I had an amazing opportunity to go play basketball overseas professionally. So I played in Greece, and that's where my love of that, the Mediterranean food and Greek food, love, like their food is the best. So I played over there, played a little bit in Spain. And then when I came back, my last thing before I hung up my shoes, I tried out for the WNBA because I wanted to try it at the highest level before I walked away from it. Didn't make the team, and when I didn't make it, that's when I found CrossFit, started competing, opened up my own gym, made it to the games a couple times, and yeah, so that's kind of my story with CrossFit and basketball.
It was mainly all basketball. So what did, yeah, we see what you, what's that?
Oh yeah. Oh, you want to dive a little more into CrossFit?
Well, no, it's just funny. You're like, oh yeah. And then I did this little CrossFit thing. So what years were you at the games with CrossFit?
So I found CrossFit at the end of 2011, and then I qualified for regionals a couple months in 2012. Funny, not funny. I was the week of, I had jury duty. I went on my lunch break to drop in at a CrossFit gym. We were running sprints, tore my hamstring like completely, so I couldn't even walk. Got called up the duty case. But anyways, I was like, oh man, I did this, and everyone's like, no, oh my God, but I didn't understand what regionals was. So when I went, I was like, whoa, this is really cool. And I want to come back and do this next year. So 2013 was my first year. I finished 5th behind the crazy SoCal women, Val Voberl, Lindsay Valenzuela, Chris Kleber, Becca Voigt. They're incredible. And so the next year, 2013 5th, 2014 5th again. And right when I thought I was going to make that, that's when I tore my Achilles. So 2015, didn't do so well at regionals. And then 2016, I made it as an individual. So I went then, and then 2018 as a team to the games.
Okay, cool. Did you have a preference which one you enjoyed more, games or individual or team?
I love both of them. I mean, I guess I'd say like team, because like I came from basketball, so everything is teamwork, and so I loved having, not only teammates but friends and people out there, like my support. And so it was really special, I guess, both of them, because my goals with CrossFit were to make it one time on a team and one time individually. And being able to check out both was one of the best things that's happened to me.
That's cool. And what sort of level of training and focus did it require? I mean, I guess that's a long time to be competing. You competed for a long time. So what does that kind of looked like as far as like number of hours in the gym and with your diet and lifestyle? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I would train all the time. I obviously own my gym with my sister, and at the time, one of our friends, Dan, and he's killing it with push press right now. It's a member management system. But anyway, so they were great, and they did everything for the business. And they're like, Jamie, you train, you compete, you coach, and that's what we need from you. So fortunately for me, I was able to coach classes and mostly of my day train two times a day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week ish. I take 1 or 2 day rest days. But yeah, it's, as you know, it's hours and hours, but I loved it. I think at the time, like my goal was to make it, and I didn't care. It's not like it bothered me like to be in there, or man, this is so, yeah, there's frustrating days, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Much different story now these days.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. And what did your diet look like? Like, what did you have to do for your diet? Were you tracking food, and were you pretty specific, like right on? And
yeah, I got picked up and linked up with RP Strength pretty early, like I think in 2013. So Nick Shaw's great, and he anything I needed for regionals, he would adjust, or the games or training. So that's when I really realized, I guess before I knew it, I like to almost intermittent fast. Like, so before them, I would wake up, train, coach. My first meal would come at 2 in the afternoon. And then I would coach, work out again. And then I would eat at 9 o'clock at night again, which is, and for them, they were like, that's crazy. How are you able to do all the things you're doing, eating twice a day, And so I think for me, the shift was realizing, okay, it's not just these big meals 2 times a day. It's, I got to fuel my body properly, just eating more throughout the day. So, and understanding it's not these huge portions, like literally your protein is like this much, your greens, your carbs. So kind of made me in the process a little more.
And is that something that you still do?
Yeah. So I'm still, obviously it's hard with quarantine and not competing and trying to figure this whole situation out. But yeah, loosely right now, I will get back on it because I've gained 10 pounds and it was a big shock. So yeah, but yeah, I like to be not so, it's hard. It is hard. If anyone says it's really easy, maybe if you have all the meal prep down and all that stuff, but yeah, being disciplined, I guess, is the hardest part.
Yeah, dude. Just kind of like piggyback off that. So I struggle with just 12 hours, dude. 12-hour fast, like 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. I'm like, I can do it, Yeah. So, sometimes, in fact, I actually have an alarm on my phone that's like, great job, Nat. Or it says at 7 a.m., you can last 2 more hours, right now, just because we're so habitual. And so it's just like, I noticed that if I can just delay my first meal back a little bit, I just feel so much better because once I start eating, I just want to like keep eating. But the other thing that I noticed though, is that I also don't like very rigidness, right? Like it's, if I marry myself to the idea of I can only eat at 9 a.m., then it becomes this weird like trap, and it can really backfire on me.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Tough. It's a balancing act,
It's constant balancing act.
Totally.
Yeah, I agree. And once you find something that it's working, you just run with that. You just milk that until it doesn't work anymore.
Right. And so I feel like, and once people get it down, they're like, oh man, okay, like I got it, and you feel good and get in a routine and you just roll with the punches, and it's not even like anything hard anymore. It's just really naturally.
And then it's not going to be great one day, it's not going to work, and that's okay. I think it's just figuring out, okay, like I got off, like now I got to refigure out a new routine.
Yeah, totally. So
cool.
Yeah, but I know it's a tough subject and hard, for men and women out there. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's good to just for everybody to know that like we all struggle with it, you know, like even the best nutrition coaches and stuff like that, it's a constant, you know, constant figuring out.
Just because like if we made it to the games or played grid or you know or at this level of fitness, they think you know that you have everything dialed in, you have everything perfect, you are you know this like machine that just cranks things out, and that's why for me I'm not, and like I'm okay, like it is hard to like show that you know that, but I think it makes everyone feel a little bit better because they you know can identify with you because they're like, oh, that's how I feel, that's what I do, you know. So.
Yeah, but I think that like your experience as an athlete, it shows you remember, hey, it's okay, like you just got to be resilient, you just got to get back up, you just got to get back up every single time.
One thing I love so much is just like it's not about being perfect, you know, it's not perfection, it's just being consistent or trying to you know consistently like, okay, I messed up, okay, that's all right, get back on track, you know? Still
Exactly. Yeah. And making sure that when you do mess up, we don't let that go down too far, right? For too long, right? Because
totally.
that can be that can be a tough hole to crawl out of.
Yeah, definitely.
So have you like decided that are you done with competing or are you going to continue?
No, I think I'm like for me, I'm done. I did everything I wanted to do with CrossFit and I'm happy with it. And like one thing I've always kept in my mind is I'll do something until it stops being fun. And for me, like personally, I don't need to be dying and can't breathe and on the floor every day after day after day. That's not fun for me anymore. So yeah, I'm good and I'm happy. It's not like I'm like so sad I'm like holding on to that. I wish, you know. So that's why I think it makes it a little bit easier transition to get out of competing.
Yeah, for sure. And so when did you, I guess, so has it been since 2019 that you kind of made, like, how long have you decided that you're probably like, I'm good?
Yeah, so after the games in 2018 with my team, we finished 11th, which was awesome. We were right outside the top 10, which was amazing, and we had such a great time. We got along so well. That was kind of good for me, you know. I did the Open in 2019, but kind of very the most loosely, like I could do it one time, jump in a heat with my gym. I don't really care. There's no videoing, which was actually really nice. And then yeah, I did one last comp. I think it was exactly a year ago in Venice, and with Dot Morrington, and it was fine. But and I think that was it for me. Maybe I'll jump into like a fun one here and there, you know. But without putting any pressure on myself and just having fun. But yeah, and that's kind of when I knew like, yeah, I'm good. But I know Chelsea Grigsby still is still competing and she's training. We train together. So whatever she has to do, I'll just kind of jump in with her.
Yeah, that's cool. And so how you know, how have you been able to, was it hard for you to pull back on training then after that or?
Not really. I mean, I think because you know when you pour everything you have into it, you've done everything. You've exhausted your metabolic, your conditioning, your strength, your fast twitch, everything. So for me, like I was like, okay, I've done all of this, and it was so fun at the time. But now, like, I just want to move. I just want to sweat. I just want to feel good for the hour and a half, and then move on, you know, and help other people out. So that's my thought process now.
Do you find it hard to like, or maybe not so much anymore, but in the beginning, like, well, maybe now, you know, because you're training with Chelsea, but like finding like, oh, I'm not pushing hard enough, or you know, comparing old scores or anything?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't care. I think for Chelsea, she's like, girl, come on, like, what? This is so light for you. What? Get that heavy kettlebell, because I literally will modify everything. Like if she's using 5, I'm using 105, you know. And so it's like almost ridiculous. But for me, it doesn't bother me because I'm like, this is where I'm at. This is what I want to do. I don't want to hurt. I was dealing with some like back issues and things like that. So I know my body. I know what I need. I know that I don't need to do that right now. I don't want to hurt it like that. So for me, it's okay. I'm not so bothered by it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sometimes I'll look back and be like, you know, like an open workout or something that we do. I'm like, oh, I was like, how did I even do that or that time? Like it blows my mind now because I'm not in that state. But Yeah.
Yeah. But you're still hitting some good numbers and stuff, right? Because I feel like as far as like lifting, I see you lifting, right?
Yeah. I mean, when my back is healthy,
Mm.
like I'll throw around some weights, and Chelsea jokes. She's like, "This is so not fair." She's like,
Yeah.
"Literally dedicated the next 10 years of lifting, I would still, be like around your numbers." I don't know. I guess it's just something that it's good for me for strength. Like it
Yeah.
hasn't gone too far down. I mean, a little bit, but
Yeah.
for the most part,
Yeah.
like
That's
hitting
pretty
and all
cool.
and my gymnastics.
Yeah.
Like you.
Were you? Oh no. Yeah. Right. You kidding me? Do you remember being over at Duke's gym and I like could not do a muscle up? Save my life. It looks like I should be able to, but I can never be that good at it. But do you shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, were you afraid that you were gonna lose, like what was gonna happen to your body or your performance when you started to tone it down?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really bother me so much, like right after, because I didn't really see a huge change. I think the biggest change when I literally just started noticing it was, I guess within the past year or so. So I stopped competing in like 2019, and then like a couple months in, maybe 6, 8 months in, I was like, oh my god, I'm gaining so much weight, and this is crazy because I'm not working out the way I was, but I'm still eating the same way I was, and that was that's what hit me the hardest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you've kind of, have you been sort of like feeling good, like stayed lean and then you've kind of put on some, or like is it just kind of when you tighten up like you're
Yeah, like I mean, I think like all of us are so hard on ourselves. So like, I'm sure you can remember going back and being like, oh, like not being so nice to yourself. Like I look huge. I'm gained some weight and all stuff. And then I look back now, I'm like, whoa, I looked good then. I wish I appreciated it then because now I look different.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think I like looking back, I'm like, oh, okay, I wasn't what I thought of myself at the time. So I think it's a matter of like appreciating yourself in all these seasons, because I'm sure 5, 10 years from now, I'm going to look back and be like, oh, dang, I didn't even look that bad. Like, what was I complaining and so hard on myself for? So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you find it harder to like for when I was working out several hours a day, food was all I thought about because it made me so hungry, you know.
Great.
And now that I work out an hour a day, it's almost like the less I try, the more in control I feel, just because I'm not constantly trying to outwork it. Do you notice the same thing, or?
Yeah, like I don't, I don't know. It's really weird. My body just doesn't, because I kind of resorted, like, when for this whole quarantine, I've kind of, when you get off your routine, I like resorted back to like not eating till 1 or 2, and I was like, oh, this is not good, and that kind of stuff. But then yeah, I started working out more, and I was like, oh, like I'm hungrier. Some of that stuff. So I think yeah, just finding some balance in that, I guess. But yeah, like and it's bad. I think it's bad to not reward yourself like, oh, I worked out so hard, now I get this cupcake, or like I ate a piece of pizza or the whole pizza, now I need to go run 6 miles. So I think
Yeah,
it's not
that's
to
dangerous.
do that,
Yeah.
and kind of like doing your routine and sticking to it, and okay, you fall off, that's okay, but but not rewarding or punishing yourself with food or with
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that can be a dangerous game to play.
yeah, totally.
And so what do you feel like is most important to you right now that it's not competing?
And that's where I've kind of been like, I guess, struggling to try to find what the answer is. I tell everyone, like, when you're a collegiate athlete and get out of college, and you're trying to figure out what your next step is and what's next for you, it's very hard times. I think you kind of get lost in, you are your sport, you are, that's what the only thing so for me, like, yeah, I feel like a student athlete getting out of, because I feel like CrossFit kind of prolonged my athletic career. When I thought it was done, it extended it another 8 years. So I'm trying to figure out, I obviously have my gym. I love it. I love helping others and coaching and with health and fitness. But yeah, so I'll definitely continue that. But as far as what's next to fill that like competitive burning desire,
Yeah.
not really sure. I gotta figure that out still.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
whole lot of people waiting for you to figure that out, girl, because You're just such an inspiration. So I'm excited. I think you just keep doing what you're doing, and that alone is very inspiring. I think you're just very infectious, and how to just have fun and make life enjoyable, and how to incorporate fitness into that and not make it a chore.
Yeah.
So, and what do you feel like what does a typical day look like for you, as far as what your workout is? I know you said that, you train with Chelsea every now and then. So how many days a week are you working out? How hard? What does it look like? Do you put any, yeah. Do you have any like intentions on how many days or anything like that?
Yeah, so right now I usually will coach in the morning, not the early morning, but like the 9 a.m. It's morning for me. And then I usually train and I coach 9 and 12. So I have like a 2-hour block. So if Chelsea's off, she's a firefighter. If she's off, I'll train with her, whatever I can in that 2 hour. If she's not, I'll kind of pick and choose. I'll either jump into a class or kind of just do, it's really weird not having a structured program to follow. There's like good and bad to it, but yeah, sometimes in the beginning I definitely found myself lost into, whoa, what if I don't have a goal? If I don't, what do I do? How many reps? How many, where do I go with this? But I've kind of found to fall back in love with fitness and just for myself is doing things you love to do, and not, obviously like we all have weaknesses. So right now, not working on those and like having those negative feelings of like, oh, I have to go to the gym. I have to do this. I have to work on that. So I think it's
Yes.
doing things you enjoy, or vice versa, getting out of the gym, I think it's spent so much time of our lives, and miss so many important events and things and life things, weddings, baby showers, bridal showers. So I think now being able to take a step back and make sure you enjoy all of that with your family and your friends, but also like, and there's so many fun things you can do outside of the gym. I think this whole thing started because it was like, use this so you can get outside, so you can be fitter outside, so you can do all those things. And so, yeah, I enjoyed going to the beach. I love to, not love, but I have been running. I
Cool.
love, like, I don't know, play other sports, tennis, beach volleyball, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that helps.
And I agree. Like I'm kind of the same way. Well, actually, I'll follow a program, but what's so cool, I think now, because when we were competing and stuff, it's like, I have to do every single thing. And if I don't do every single thing, like, then I gotta double up tomorrow. And oh my God, dude, like, and so now, dude, I'm like, oh, it was 3 sets. Yeah, I'm just gonna do 2 sets,
Just
and it's okay.
I think the freedom of that is so nice, and listening to your body, like, oh, this kind of bugs me. No, scratch that. Like, we'll find something else.
Yes.
And it's interesting, I think, with this whole quarantine is like figuring out things that different like exercises that I'm
creative.
Like, whoa, this is crazy. I've never felt this muscle, or this is sore. I've never worked on that. So yeah, it is very nice and freeing to be able to do your own thing and to see how your body feels, which I think is how it should be.
Yeah, I agree. And it keeps it fun, right? It keeps it fun rather than keeping it like a chore, because you know that, hey, you know what? If I don't feel like finishing it, that's okay.
Yeah.
And as long as I I think that we forget that we are certain way, like naturally, like we are just driven people, and high performers or whatever, like CrossFitters, we just are those, just attracts those kind of people. And so we think that, oh, if we don't complete it verbatim the way it's written, that like we are missing out, or we're going to get soft, or we're going to get lazy. But the thing is, from what I've noticed, is when you enjoy it and you have more fun with it, you naturally are going to just do all 3 sets. And it's just because that's our natural way. Like, just we enjoy it.
Right. Yeah, totally. And I think for anyone who has competed, yes, that's how we are. Like, whatever your coach gives you, you do it all. And it doesn't matter. You find a way to finish it, or you find the time to get that done. So I think, yeah, it's just, that's what's been ingrained in us for so long, that it's like a very different approach, but
very different.
Very nice. But at the time, like, I'm sure you wouldn't have taken back 1 second, 1 rep of anything you did in training. because it was worth it to you, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is though, like I thought the harder I pushed, the more I would get there, right? The better I would place. But the thing is now from what I know now, I think if I would have not placed so much importance on doing the thing and more on just feeling good, I think I would have gotten way further and enjoyed it.
And that's where I feel bad not feel bad, but like people who get so caught up in volume, like, and you know what, to be honest, some people can handle that and some people excel with that, you know? So I think it is just individualized to the person and their body and how they, you know, adapt to all the training. Cause yeah, for me personally, like, you know, people would look at mine and be like, that's crazy volume, but mine compared to someone else's really wasn't super bad, you know? So yeah, I think it all is all like individualized to how people perform and how they get the most out of their sessions.
Yeah, I mean, we're inclined to think that more is always better, right? We got some results off doing some, so we must think that if I just push harder, or I just go harder, like it should get me there.
Yeah.
And that's the trap we all fall into, you know?
Yeah. You think like, oh, they're doing this, so I got to do extra, you know, and I'm spending more time and
right.
hours and that kind of stuff.
Oh,
we
dude.
miss out missing that.
I thought, yeah.
Basketball. They never.
Oh no, I can't.
Was it super loud?
No, I don't hear it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, dude. I thought I was getting ahead by taking no days off. Like I was just like, my competitors are taking days off. I'm gonna go do something, and then the next day I'd be crushed, you know. And
I think that's part of like the good and bad of social media. Like everyone's posting their best, so you see only that, you know, and you don't. So then you're like, oh, she hit that, or she did this in that time. Like, that's how come I'm not like that, or you know. And so yeah, I think that plays into like maybe if I spend more time, maybe I will get better at this. Maybe I will catch up. But you know, like you don't see the hours of like, you know, the struggle. You know. One time we were training, I know it was right before the games with the team, and literally I had like 105 for overhead squats, and I was supposed to do synchronized, and I just couldn't do it. I was failing, and I just started crying with like, you know, and it was a 105, and that just goes to show like, looking back now, like, is it that serious to cry over missing overhead squats? Who really cares, you know, in the bigger picture? But at the time, you get so wrapped up in this is it. This means so much. This is everything. This defines me. This is, you know. So I think like it's a hard thing, but I think the more people realize, you know, you are enough. You are doing the best you can. It's only a competition with yourself. Like, don't get caught up in all that other stuff. So tough.
Yeah, and amazing how much your mindset is a part of that. Because like here, I mean, freaking Jamie, what you can snatch 225 or something like that, like 220, 230,
213.
Yeah, 213. Yeah. And then struggling, you know, on a day, like just depending on what your focus is on, all of a sudden you can't squat 105 pounds. You know, that's a mental thing. It's not a physical.
Right. Yeah, that's what they were all like, are you kidding me? You snatch 100 more pounds than this. And I'm like, I know, I can't.
I know. And so like today, do you focus on intensity or reps or scores or times? Do you keep track of that, or do you put any focus on it or no?
Not really. I mean, I think we all spend so much time. That was it. Your time, your score, your reps, your numbers, that was everything for the past 8 years. And so now, like, I don't know. I mean, I get it to just kind of see where you're at, because then you could look back and be like, oh, okay, well, I'm here. Maybe I want to get to here. But right now, like, none of that matters. I just need to, like, move and get through 20 minutes, set an AMRAP, or, you know, like, times don't really, you know, the other day I did a hero WOD with a weighted vest, and I was already stressed out enough wearing a weighted vest. And then I was thinking about my time trying to get it under this. It just all.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Totally, girl.
And same thing, like, on sugar WOD, I was like, oh, can I beat this time? And you know, and that's where we hurt, which is good and bad, you know. I think it'll push you a little bit harder, but then for me, right, that's not what I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like as soon as I put that expectation, as soon as that one thought comes into my mind, there goes the fun in it. And then it becomes something I have to strive for.
Yeah, totally. And I think there's expectations that you put on yourself, and then I think there's expectations you have what other people put on you. Like, you're thinking of like, they expect this from me, you know?
Yeah.
yourself. So I think it's like a double, can get.
Yeah. But you know what's cooler, I think nowadays, like especially coming out as like from as an athlete, is just doing it to feel good. I think that is more inspirational because it frees you from all that other,
Right.
expectations.
And the more I look back, I'm like, you know what? Like, you know how we obsessed about for the open, for regionals, for the games, like our times, our scores, and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And when you look back, I can't even recall one score or time that I got on a certain event. Like, I don't know. I have to go back still and look at it, So I think in
Yeah.
the picture, like years down the road from now, we're not going to remember our times or scores, but we'll remember like the memories. Like, I remember being next to Val. I remember being next to China and being in heat with Becca. And, it's just, those are the things that are important. The relationships you build, like, way more important than like what you got in Fran in 2013. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And why don't, it seems to make, it makes much more sense to want to just enjoy those experiences rather than be in those environments and be stressed out, rather than taking it all in.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's something that we all learn.
Yeah. At the games, did you put that expectation on yourself? Like,
dude, yeah, I was so hard on myself. It's ridiculous.
Did you enjoy your games or?
I did but no, like not like that. I'm always so hard on myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's never enough. Ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's why I enjoy the games as an individual, because I didn't have any expectations. I think for a lot of us, like, it was just making it there. And once you make it there, everything is like a bonus, So, I mean, obviously when I got last in 2 events, that didn't feel good, but then I also got a second and I got, like a top 10 in a couple. So it was just like a very like, cool, whatever I did, great. And whatever I did bad on, okay, shake it off, So I think that's kind of what made me enjoy the process or being at the games. But I saw, the people who were vying for those top spots, and it's a totally different story because every event and every placing and everything means so much, is detrimental, So I think it's a very different experience trying to get a top podium at the games and being at the games and competing.
Yeah, definitely. And then so like when you don't feel like working out, what do you do? And how do you know? Like
Yeah, like, I mean, I think I won't work out for 2 reasons. Sometimes, like, if something's bothering me, my back's hurting, like, no, call it, don't do it, do something else, like go for a walk, swim. But and some days I just don't want to. I think when this quarantine hit, like, I feel like everyone, and it hits people at different times, like, you just feel bad. Like, you don't want to do anything. You feel sad. You feel lethargic. You feel, not motivated. And so I was there at that point, and I didn't work out. I kind of, because for me, like, to go through the motions, like, it sometimes makes you feel worse. So I just kind of took a break. And sometimes I think taking a break from things makes you like, oh, cool. It ignites that fire in you, like, okay, I want to move out. I want to work out today. And I want to have fun. So yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just take a break, and it's really nice. I feel very fortunate. Like, we live like 5 minutes from the beach. So always for me, like, I know it's shut down, but being across the street, being able to see it, watching the sunset, something like that, just hearing the ocean, the waves really brings me to a place of resetting me. So
that was my next question, was what resets you? Like what fulfills you and restores you?
That for sure. I think that during this time now, like, I've really enjoyed ROMWAD, which I was awful at mobility and taking care of my body, but now I look forward to it. I'm like, oh, this is really relaxing, on another level, a spiritual level. I've been kind of like I found a group who is kind of like, kind of help my find my walk with Jesus, and kind of just like tapping back into that friendship and getting to know him. And I don't really know a ton about it, but I'm like, want to grow and learn in that aspect. That's been kind of cool. There's a ton of books that are sitting on my desk that I read like the first couple pages and then I just leave it there. So I think some of that kind of stuff will be nice to get back into.
Yeah, cool. That's great. And then so Basically, I guess we're kind of getting down to the last question here. So what is the single thing that you feel like you need to do for yourself on like a daily basis, something that keeps you on track with, like, what's this one thing that when you do this one thing, you eat better, you move better, you smile more, you feel better, like everything just kind of is like kind of in its place. Is there something that you do that's really important?
I don't think it's like a certain thing. I think, I mean, one thing I guess it's not specific, but like being grateful, I think definitely changes your mentality of like, a negative one to like an optimistic, like things are gonna be okay, and anything you do, like you get to do this. You don't have to do this. This is an opportunity. You think about everything that's going on, and even just yesterday, when I was struggling with my weight, and I was like, oh, and so frustrated. At the end of the day, really, before I went to bed, I was like, I'm thankful that I have a body that is healthy, that I can go on a 20-minute jog if I wanted to, because there's tons of people who can't do that. So instead of like complaining about and seeing all the negative things, like flipping it and seeing all the positives will do wonders for you. So I think that having a grateful heart, having a grateful mindset is very
cool. And then last question. So what is the one piece of advice that you can leave the listeners with, as far as like, what can they, like, what do you recommend, to look fit and be free from, spending hours in the gym and obsessing over food? Like what do you think is the most important thing that you've learned to have that?
Yeah, and there's so many important lessons that kind of like help lead up to this. But picking one or a couple, putting it all together. I think at the end of the day, like, this is what I think about sometimes. If I die tomorrow or later, soon, if I didn't have that piece of cupcake, would it really like kill me? Like, I would have been happy to have that last, like, oh, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my last day here, So not stressing about like being so strict and beating yourself up every day about little things. And like I talked about years down the road, like people remember you for like not what you said, not specific things, but it's always how you made them feel. So being like a kind person at the end of the day, and thinking about how you can help others, how you make others feel is really important. And then the last like thing is really like self-love, and that's a very, very, very hard thing for everybody to deal with. But I really believe if you can get to a place where you love and accept yourself and are working on it, like it's always going to be, in progress, not set in stone. But that is really going to help you understand, like where you want to go, who you want to be, and be okay with all these other distractions and anything else going around you, of what others think of you or what others perceive you as. That won't matter. I think that will make you a happier person at the end of the day. Those are like all kind of random things I'll pull together.
No, that's great. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's a constant pursuit, but I think knowing that, hey, that is something that I strive for, and I try to realign with myself, then you're going to be on a better path. Everything's going to be a lot, easier. Cool. Awesome, Jamie. Well, that has been super fun. Thank you so much. Where can people find more about you, your journey, and so social media presence?
Yeah, mostly Instagram. So Jamie Joyce 2 is my handle. I post like mostly my nieces. Everyone loves my nieces. Food, fitness, that kind of stuff. And Facebook, I have a Jamie Hagiya CrossFit athlete page. And then my gym is Torrance Training Lab. If you guys are ever in Torrance, you guys are more than welcome to come drop in. I'd love to meet you guys and see you and work with you. So definitely stop in if you're in Torrance.
Totally.
Thank you for having me. I had such a great time.
Of course. I had a great time. All right. Thanks, Jamie. We'll see you guys on the next show.
Thanks, guys.